I have Nona Peltier by my side here in the Auckland studio. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
We're looking at Fisher & Paykel Healthcare. It's got a record profit, but it disappoints the market still.
Who could figure that, right? I mean, the company's delivered on what it said it would, which is a strong and healthy profit, record size, and also sales, record sales, over $1 billion. But the market still wasn't that happy, even though the outlook is for even better sales this current financial year and also a bigger profit. So why
Why our
ask?
skepticism?
Yes,
What's up?
exactly. Well, it turns out that some of the benefit will be through grants that it gets for research and development and some tax savings that it might make in that sense. But the delivery of their new technology masks, so they sell masks for sleep apnea and that sort of thing, but they also sell equipment. And they have some new products that they're going to be launching, and they have done very well where they have launched them. But the United States market is one of those ones which they haven't been able to get approval yet. They're expecting that in the second half of this year. And until that happens, their sales in the United States are going to remain somewhat sluggish and perhaps maybe even go a bit backwards. Now, interestingly, more than half of the company's revenue comes from the U.S. market. So that's a huge opportunity for them, but also a risk. So the market doesn't like risk very much and decided that maybe Fisher & Paykel's share price was a bit over the top to begin with, and so needed to be buttoned back a bit. So it lost just over 3.5% of its share price today, which is, just, like I say, surprising when you deliver a record result, record sales, and then, with a positive outlook. Still not quite good enough.
It's always a good test, though, isn't it? How it's going on the market. There's reasons there, as you just explained. So,
So it's just simply that it's a bit toppy, probably. And the market's going to take a little wait-and-see approach to all of this.
Hey, we've had a couple of other companies mentioned in the news already. Air New Zealand, the warehouse. How's the market responding to them?
Well, the Air New Zealand share price was not too badly. It did pretty well, considering later on it sort of talked about its financial earnings and some of the headwinds it faces there. However, so they were down about 1/3%. That's 1/3%, not 3%, a third of one.
Yeah.
And the warehouse was flat. So the market was like, okay, the warehouse, that sounds pretty good to us. We'll just leave it as it is. So the price did move. It didn't mean that it was unchanged, just simply that when it finished up in the day, it was flat. Now, that's quite interesting because our market generally has been going downhill all afternoon ever since Donald Trump arrived in Japan, pretty much, and had some words about trade in Japan and balance sheets and trade talk. Anytime he mentions the word trade in any context, the market gets nervous.
Particularly closer and closer to us.
And so, the Asian markets are at a 4-month low, not very happy at all. However, trading luckily is thin because the UK and US markets are closed for holidays, so that's kind of a useful thing when Donald Trump talks about trade. It always causes some jitters, so all the while that it's closed. Anyway, the Kiwi is trading pretty steady at 65.5 US cents, 94.5 Australian, and 51.5 British pence. And the British pound, of course, is sitting in a very narrow range ahead of some outcome there on the European Parliament elections. And so again, our top 50 index, it was down 0.75%. That's a lot. A drop of 75 points to 10,148.
Nona Peltier, comprehensive as usual. Thank you very much. Nona Peltier there with the latest in the business world.